that's a bit odd, but you knew it was going to happen once this year.
Yeah, it sure does. They know where to be. All of them been here. Here we go. And we're here for the Coaches Show on this Monday night. Monday Night Football with the Rams and the Vikings. And we have a lot going on here. Jay Cullen's in here. Hey, Jay, what's up?
When is he not in here?
Yeah. And he's got a terrific hat that stands out. Yeah, was it purple?
Terrific's a word for it, for sure.
He stands out in the crowd. Yes, he does. So he's certainly going to greet you at the door as you come in here for Friggers and 79-cent boneless wing night. And with Nick Roth, I'm Tim Boulware. And we had a coach lined up, probably late getting over from practice. So that's fine. We'll talk for a few minutes. And our question of the night. Who is a celebrity that you would love to meet and who's a celebrity that you have met? And besides Jay Cullen. And I would say that the one I would love to meet is Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
He is so good with – he's going to be the player of the year, Duke.
You're a big Duke guy.
42 points, set an ACC freshman record on Saturday against Notre Dame. And, just incredible. If you've seen some of his dunks, they've been quite amazing. And so that certainly, the way he plays. And the one I would like to meet is Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and we're going to pose that to all our coaches tonight. Usually I would have say that to the end, but Juan Vela is here, and he came in for the cold. And, so we're going to flip the schedule a little bit because, our schedule 7 o'clock is getting back from practice.
Your Bryce is late. You can go ahead and sit here.
Do they sing the song, I'm late for a very important date? It's kind of the Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. So Juan Vela joining us, the coach from the Fremont girls. And, lots changed since we've seen you last. Your team's now on the plus side of 500, 7-6, and 6-0 on the Cardinals. So congratulations on the turnaround. Obviously, usually you say congratulations when you won a league title or something like that. But considering where the team has been, certainly making a lot of progress. Where are you seeing the most improvement?
I think just players are starting to understand their roles. I have a group of seniors that last year were role players to the seniors from last year, and now they are taking most of the minutes and they're leading the team. So I think there's an adjustment there. And then we also have some juniors and sophomores that it's their first year experience in varsity, so they're learning their role too. So I think right now we're meshing together. Girls are understanding the role, and things are starting to become fun for us.
So it's been interesting that some of these wins have been very close. You beat Whitmer 55-51. Obviously, you had a tough loss to Columbian by 9, Findlay to 10, both of them on the road. But you won 4 of the last 5 of the last 7. And even beating Bowling Green for 2 times in the same week. Mm-hmm. So within that span, was that a good measuring stick? You beat a team, and then 5 days later you play them again. Usually that becomes much more difficult when it's that short of a turnaround.
We won by 5 at Bowling Green, and it's always when you're on the road, it's just a different game. Mm-hmm. And then for us to come back within a week and we're up by 15 or so. It was just a relief, and I think that's one of the things that I'm seeing. Our girls starting to mesh together, and we're starting to get more rhythm together, offensively, defensively. They're understanding what I want, and honestly, I haven't really been looking too much on the scoreboard. I know the goal is to win every game, but right now I think my goal as a coach is to get them playing together and up to a varsity competitive level.
Talking with the head coach of the Fremont ladies basketball team and Juan Vela. I'm Tim Bolware here from the Coaches Show at Frickers in Fremont, located between Highway 20 and the Turnpike. And, you know, one of the players that you talk about that developing that role is Ava Jones.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's had 32 combined over the 2 games versus Bowling Green, and she's had a lot of big offensive output games recently.
Yes.
What is it that's allowing for her to take control of games?
I think more patience. She's learning the patience of the game. You don't have to score all at once. You don't have to try to win it in the first quarter. Some of these games, it's going to take 4 quarters, maybe even overtime. And I think when she allows herself to play the game and let the game come to her, and also have fun with the game, I think she's at her best because she could shoot from the outside. She could drive. She could post up. She's passing the ball more. So, and her being a sophomore, I'm really excited for her future. See what she can develop into.
What does it take for a player when you say let the game come to them? What does that mean to you as a coach?
I think what it means to me is they don't need to do everything all at one time. There might be 3-4 possessions where she might not even touch the ball, but you can go rebound. You can sprint down the floor. You can do other things that most coaches will say, "Wow, she's a player." Most kids, all they look at is scoring, and are they winning? Well, sometimes you could be losing the game and then winning in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where she has to stay focused for 4 quarters and play the game versus playing the feeling of the game.
Okay. All right, we're talking with Juan Vela, head coach of the Fremont girls basketball team, and so you have your Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt on.
Absolutely.
Happy McCarthy's gone.
I honestly have not paid attention to what's going on. We're not in the
Well, that's
playoffs.
Coach
So
speak, yeah.
it's just a comfortable hoodie, and I got to rep my Dallas Cowboys.
Is there anybody you would like to have as their head coach?
Thompson, I from.
Oh, you want to
Pittsburgh.
trade?
I want. Yeah, I love Thompson. I think
Yeah,
he's.
Tomlinson, yeah.
I think he does a great job. I mean, I don't think he's had a losing season, and he's had some players at times doesn't have players.
Well,
but
there's
somehow,
some talk because he hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. There's some talk that there might be something in the works with him.
Yeah, I like
That'd
him.
be interesting, just for a change of pace.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes you need a different environment and everything. So, all right, we talked a little football speak. I mean, the football the game is above head here at Frickers. When you look at so Lindy Wolf, I'm interested in finding out a little bit more about her because obviously she was the focal point beginning of the season.
Yep.
She's the team leader.
Yep.
She's had games where she's done well offensively, and then some where she's not been as involved. So, is there something that for her that she can find more consistency in helping out players like Ava Jones out?
Yeah, I mean, I think for her role this year is, and I talked to her about it, it's that she's going to be the coach on the floor. So, again, I'm not looking for her to score a whole bunch of points, and that's going to solve all our problems. I think when she coaches her teammates on the floor and guides them, and then all of a sudden we get, 12 from Ava, and we get, 6 from Camilla or Shania or Malin, all of a sudden we start spreading the wealth a little bit. I think it opens up her game, and now we're starting to play smart basketball and see what we can get and play off of the defense.
Is there so if she's not scoring, were you looking for rebounding? Would you defense? Obviously, some other aspects of the game that she wants to make up for it in different ways than other than putting up points.
The biggest thing where we had success is when she's passing the ball well, she's getting assists. She does attract attention because she's 6'1", 6'2". She can shoot it. She's starting to be aggressive in the paint, and now when she has the ball in her hands, I think people got to respect that. And when she drives, she could make the defense collapse, and she could find people. So the times when we do have success, she's making the right reads, whether she's shooting the ball or passing the ball. So those are the 2 things that she's been doing well when we are doing well. And then obviously transition, she does a good job at. She can bring up the ball and not. We don't have to rely on Jasmine Heidelberg bringing up the ball constantly.
Yeah, and I was going to mention about her, but and I do look that you're playing Perkins tomorrow night. We'll get a preview of that here in just a minute. But Jasmine Heidelberg handling the ball. where have you seen her in terms of grade, what she's been able to do well, what you would like to see from her getting into the second half of the year?
I think her confidence is going up. Now she understands she needs to play with a lot more energy that she did in the first half. She has a lot more confidence attacking the hoop. I think in the first half she was kind of unsure. Again, it's a new role for her. She has to be aggressive, and it's almost like some of these girls think they got to make every shot. And I told her, I said, I need you to drive 10, 12 times, and if you make 4 or 5 of them, I'm good with that. You don't need to make every shot, but you need to keep the defense honest. And so she's listened to me and she's doing it, and I think it's given us some more rhythm in our offense.
Team has won 10-0 in the Cardinal last year of the NLL. You've gone 6-0 this year. How much would it mean for this team to go back-to-back undefeated conference seasons?
I think it will mean a lot for our seniors, and not just our seniors. I mean, our whole varsity group to be able to get that again. I know last year that team had a lot of attention, but for this team to do it back-to-back, I think it would just be special. I think the kids have been working hard. They've been trying to figure things out. They've been listening to me and dealing with me when I'm angry at practice at times. And I just think it brings everyone together when you win.
The games that you've been challenged recently, and of course we looked at the Whitmer game, and then a couple other games that you've had where you've been able to get some close wins.
Yep.
What was the key to being able to win those games?
Staying focused and defensively. There's times when we just can't create any offense. But when a team can play defense for a very long time, I think it creates offense for us. And those 2 wins that we had, we were down most of the time, and we came back because defensively we made big plays. And then that always gives you the rhythm of offense. And all of a sudden, someone hits a big 3 or, gets an and one, or we hit shots in the free throw line, and slowly we get the lead, and all of a sudden we got rhythm from both ends of the floor. So I think it all starts with defensively, especially with this group, and they're buying into that.
Yeah, I was looking that one stretch against Bowling Green, you held them scoreless through an 8-minute stretch.
Yeah.
Was that extending the passing lanes? What was it that helped you defensively in that regard?
One thing we stress is no matter what defense we're in, all 5 have to understand what we're trying to do, whether stop the penetration, stop shooters, be aggressive and get in the passing lanes. Whatever we're doing, 5 of us have to be together on the court. And lately, it's been like that. They kind of understand what we're trying to do.
All right, final couple questions for Juan Vela, head coach of the Fremont Ross girls basketball team, to get ready for Perkins tomorrow night. So let's talk about Perkins. What do you know about them, and what are some of the matchups that we will have to keep a close eye on?
They got a nice post player. She has a motor on her. I think she's averaging like 19 points a game. She runs the floor very well, number 24. So she's going to be the biggest. We're going to keep a body on her. And then they have scrappy guards. They guard well. They penetrate, kick. They open the floor up. So we're going to have to contain the drive and also close out on the threes. And, again, transition for both of these teams are going to be important. So I think whoever can rebound the ball and run in transition, I think has a shot at the end.
All right. Our question of the night, who have you met that's a famous person, and who would you like to meet?
Oh.
It could be sports related or not.
So 3 years ago, I met Dennis Rodman down at Hollywood, Florida.
Is his hair still the same?
No, he was just normal. But he was the nicest guy, and I had a little conversation with him. He was drinking coffee, or I think it was coffee.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I took a picture of him. And he asked me, what do I do? I said I coach girls basketball, and he was very kind, and it was nice. That was really
You didn't
cool.
ask him how North Korea was.
No, we didn't get in that depth. No, maybe the second time if I see him again.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know he actually took like an envoy to North Korea. All right, well.
So that was really interesting. And I was walking, and I told my wife, I'm like, "That's Dennis Rodman." And she was like, "Who's Dennis Rodman?" And I'm like, never mind. I'll go talk to the guy. So that was a cool experience. Who I like to meet is Charles Barkley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I love Charles Barkley. He's just, undersized NBA player that had a lot of success, was tough in the paint, could go outside, shoot it, and he says some crazy, funny things. And I think it'll be fun and hilarious to have dinner with him.
I said Daryl Worley I met, and I was on his bus. He's a
Okay.
country singer.
Yep.
I also met Tommy Lasorda, and then the one I would love to meet, have you seen Cooper Flag play with Duke? You really need to watch
Really?
his slam dunks are
Oh,
amazing.
I did.
His slam dunks are amazing.
I did see the one last week. I think
Against-
it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was-
he's only 18.
Yes.
And,
really?
Yeah. He's a one and done. He's
Yeah.
supposed to be the number
Yeah.
one pick
Yeah.
this year. So
Wow.
So anyway, but that's nice. It's nice to it's nice to meet people who are
Yeah.
famous who are actually
Yeah.
open to meeting other
Oh,
people.
absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. So anyway, well, we wish you the best of luck tomorrow night, Juan Vela,
Thank
and continue success with your team
Yep.
throughout the
Yeah,
year.
thank you for having me, and keep this train going.
All right. Juan Vela joining us, the Fremont Ross girls basketball team against Perkins tomorrow night. And, of course, we're here at Frickers for the Coaches Show on this Monday Night Football, with 79-cent boneless wings here. And, of course, we're on our Facebook, so you can check us out on the internet tonight on our video stream as well. We're going to continue along. It's Fremont Ross and St. Joe night here at Frickers. We have scheduled Jabrias Heidelberg as well for St. Joe's boys, Eric Simon and St. Joe's girls, and John Cahill as well for the Ross boys. We're kind of juggling the schedule a little bit right now because the coaches are getting off practices. But we'll have more, and we'll continue along here from Frickers right after this. You're listening to the Coaches Show on Eagle 99. Covering that roughly around 7 o'clock tip-off and pregame 6:45. Hey, thanks for joining us, and really do appreciate it. You might want to, let's see if we can get that mic a little closer to you. There you go. That should work out. So let's look at your team right now. And, of course, I'm going to put I forgot my little cheater glasses. So anyway, oh, there they are. So the print on these stats are so small. They are
agree.
microscopic. So, anyway, team is, not 3 non-conference games you've lost, but you won a couple of conference games, one against New Eagle and one against SMCC. And the one against New Eagle, you had a 19-7 fourth quarter. So tell me a little bit about that, because that's one of your most recent wins.
Yeah, we struggled all game long shooting the ball. Just couldn't get anything to fall. And then fourth quarter, we amped it up a little. We decided to go full court press, which our numbers are way down, so we haven't been able to do much of that this year. But the girls really responded, forced some turnovers, and I think just energized themselves. And all of a sudden, shots started falling. And in that fourth quarter, I think we were like 9 of 11 from the free throw line, which helped a lot. So that was really the difference.
Well, when 9 of 11, not only to be 9 of 11, but with these new rules, it's harder to get to the free throw line.
Yes,
So
yes.
tell me about your ability to get to the line. How were you able to do it?
Causing turnovers and just running the floor. And a couple putbacks, not putbacks, but rebounds where we got fouled on the putback. And, we were just really aggressive, and we got in the bonus pretty early in the fourth quarter, and that really was the difference in the game.
Mm-hmm. What is it with this teams in terms of confidence? I mean, we look at some of the losses this year, and obviously at the beginning of the year it's a little different, but how do you see this team? Is the confidence improving? Obviously, Lakota was a hard loss. I mean, it was lopsided, to be quite frank. Hopewell Loudon. I mean, but you have good teams in your league. So what is it about a win like that you had recently against New Eagle? How does that build the team's confidence?
It just does in general. You work so hard, and then when things don't go your way, when shots don't fall, sometimes they say the basketball gods are unkind. It's hard to keep them going. But a win like that, especially coming from behind, where we thought, maybe the game's over, really does boost the confidence, just showing that if you do the right things, things can go your way. And we've been struggling with injuries. We've been down to 9 girls most of the year in the entire program. So we've played some JV, sometimes we haven't. So I think part of our struggles too in some of those blowouts are the games are a little closer and they just wear us down. They just completely wear us down.
What are some of the injuries? Are some of these injured players expected back, or are these season ending?
No, both expected back. Well, there were 3. Ashley Flayliff was out for a couple games with the shoulder, but she's been back the majority. The big 2 were Kayla Hessick. She after she had a really good game against St. Mary's, she had her appendix removed the next day. So we lost her for 3 weeks.
And obviously that wasn't somebody who said, hey, I'm just going to get my appendix removed.
Yeah, no, I got the message in the middle of the night. I go, that's interesting.
Oh, wow.
And then Cadence, one of our other guards, she hurt her finger against Old Fort, I don't know, and then 2 or 3 weeks later it just kept bothering. She finally went in, and it's a non-displaced fracture. So we should have her back in a week or so, we hope.
Mm-hmm. How does that affect the chemistry? Because, different roles are evolved because you get used to certain roles, and then they have to change.
Yep, actually the chemistry's been good. It's actually a good problem, in my opinion, because girls have been forced to step into situations they wouldn't. And once we get everybody back together, the confidence has grown in those other girls that maybe didn't handle the ball, maybe didn't shoot as much, maybe just didn't get as many opportunities. Their confidence has grown. Now you bring back the other kids who did play more. And I think as we get closer to the tournament, hopefully we can finish this year really strong and see what the tournament brings. But I'm excited about it. It's an opportunity more than anything.
When do you start talking about tournament?
In my head right now, but to the girls I start talking probably not till the end of the season.
Well, in your head, I'm not sure how to respond to that. As long as you're not answering yourself, that's the most important
What
thing, Coach
scares
Simon.
me is sometimes I do. Sometimes I do.
Well, that's above my pay grade, so just remember that. Eric Simon joining us, the head coach of the St. Joe's girls, and we're going to have their game coming up against Old Fort on Thursday night. We'll cover that in just a moment. I do want to find out from you, our question of the night is, who has one person that you met that's been famous, and then who would you like to meet? Who's a famous person?
Met quite a few famous, but probably my favorite is Gino Ariema, the women's coach at UConn.
You met Gino Ariema.
Yeah,
and how did that come about?
I was at the coach's clinic in Columbus 6-7 years back and walked in to get a beverage, and he was sitting at a table all by himself. He had just got done speaking. I went up, introduced myself, shook his hand. Greatest guy ever. He had a 45-minute wait for a flight, so he was getting a sandwich. He bought me a beverage, sat there and talked to him until we had to leave.
So
really good guy.
When you meet a famous person like that, who is obviously probably him and Pat Summitt, the biggest names. I mean, there's a Mount Rushmore of women's basketball coaches. They would be on it. What do you do in asking him any questions?
I just let him talk, to be honest. I didn't ask any questions. I told him what he had talked about at the clinic was awesome, and he just kind of went on from there. And, and he asked about my situation and that, but I was too in awe to really ask any questions. I was just taken by his presence. He was a really good guy.
So who would you like to meet?
Michael Jordan. He's been my –
it doesn't have to be sports. I mean,
I know, but Michael Jordan's been my idol since I was.
So you're a Carolina fan?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I won't tell you who I root for then. You probably heard it on the way over. If you
No, I didn't.
I said I wanted to meet Cooper Flagg. Yeah.
Yeah, one and done Cooper. Yep.
Yeah, one and done Cooper.
Yeah, he is awesome though. Yeah,
he's going to be a number one pick. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be
easily.
overall. Yeah,
easily.
He is amazing. And you know, the one thing I like it, and we talk about this with player development, he makes everybody on the court better.
I agree.
And you know, is there any players that you've seen in your career that made everybody better around them?
I think Scottie Pippen.
Oh, okay.
From the Bulls, I really do.
Anybody you coached?
Oh, anybody I coached?
Yeah.
Yeah, Julie Hotz. Back when I was at Rossford, she made and when she wasn't in the game, everything fell apart, and her numbers weren't fantastic. It's just she was the glue. She was a very good player, but she was the glue, and everybody else's job became easier.
Yeah, and what joy does that give you as a coach to see a player like that?
Oh, it's the most fantastic thing in the world. Actually, Emma Kelbley, that plays for me now, she's very similar to that. She could score 20 a game, but she does everything for us.
Yeah.
And doesn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, she could care less about the stats, you know. She plays the game, and that's just a thrill to watch. Really is.
We're talking with Eric Simon, the head coach of the St. Joe girls basketball team. They get ready for Old Fort coming up on Thursday night. We'll have the game here on Eagle 99. A few more questions for him. And, you know, as you look at it, you talk about Emma and her 14.5 points per game. Also, but the rebounding, I mean, she's averaging a double-double.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, that is quite significant. At this level, what does that say to you that player gets a double-double?
It's just her commitment. It's just her commitment to everything. It isn't single-mindedness about anything. It's doing whatever it takes. And she's a tremendous leader, too. Very quiet, but leads by example. But it talks about her.
So, personalities on the team. Who's the rah-rah person?
Sienna, our senior center. She is definitely the rah-rah person, the first one up as we come into timeouts, always talking, definitely.
And the quiet one would be Emma, and then?
Cadence, the one that's injured right now. I can barely get her to talk.
Well, is it hard when you're like, did they get that?
Yeah, they kind of look through you, and you're like, what's behind me? Yeah, definitely.
Are you starting to feel more comfortable with the players? And
Absolutely.
How much are they feeling comfortable with you now?
I think very much so, both sides. I'm a little bit of a jokester. I let them see me as me. I'm not easily embarrassed, so they can make fun of me and stuff like that. And it opens up a little bit, and I'm getting very comfortable with them. It's a great group of kids. It's just getting to know them. And at first, the only good thing with having such a small program, only having 11 girls in it, it's a little easier to meet them all. You know, you get a little more time with them. It's a little more quaint.
So when you say jokester, what's the best joke you played this year, or offhanded comment? Because I need some material. I'm a jokester in my household, so I want some material, Coach.
I'm notorious for my favorite thing to do with them, joking-wise, is just to say, hey, you know, we're not rebounding at all. You know, we're not checking out at all. And I won't mention any names.
Sure.
But if you guessed Emma, you'd be correct. And stuff like that. And it's a way of getting them without calling them out without yelling.
Yeah,
and they get the idea, and the other girls laugh, and they laugh themselves. and-
Yeah, well, that's true. And you know what? The biggest thing, and it's the hardest thing I'm still learning, is you have to laugh at yourself.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I'm really good at. I'm really good at. Like the other day, somebody said something about dance. My daughter's big into dance, so I made this little dance move pregame, and the girls all point up at the huddle camera and said, we're gonna cut that out and show that. So I said, hold on, I'll do better. I turned to the camera so they could see it and did it again.
Oh my goodness!
If they're having a good time, it's worth making fun of me a little bit.
We're in a society nowadays that we get so serious. We get
Yes.
so bogged down with wins and losses. Yeah, you want to win.
Yes,
You want to put it
absolutely.
out and everything, but you just sit back and just say, "This is fun to be out here."
Yeah.
Yeah. And how much do the girls feed off that when you're having a good time?
Yeah, they do tremendously. And I had a coach tell me this years ago, and it made a lot of sense to me. Yes, you want to win, but what is the difference between, let's say, 4 wins and 5 wins if you're miserable? If I get 4 wins and the girls are having a great time, that's a lot better than eking out that 5th win but everybody being miserable.
Yeah.
So the combination of discipline and fun, you got to find a mix.
Talking with Eric Simon, SJCC girls. They go up against Old Fort coming up on Thursday. We'll have that game here on Eagle 99. We'll have Nick Roth and myself on the call. You can also go to our Facebook page right now at Eagle 99 to see us on camera. We're waving to the camera. Hi. Hi on the camera. All right. Let's find out a little bit about Old Fort. So, scouting report. What's in? Do you have? I should have checked the schedule. You have a game in between time, or is that?
Yeah, we have tomorrow night at Norwalk St. Paul.
So why don't we take that first?
Yeah.
About St. Paul.
Yeah, we're pretty similar. They like to get up and down the court. So do we. Scouting wise, I only know numbers. I don't know names
Yeah, that's
since
fine.
I'm still somewhat new. But they can hit the 3, so I think it's going to be a game because we both like to take the 3 and both like to run. So similar records. Watch a little film on them. It's, without sounding cocky, it's definitely a game we can get. But any game we can get. We're such a hot and cold shooting team that's capable of hitting our shots. And when we're hitting shots, we can beat anybody.
How hard is it for a coach, and we'll cover a little bit on Old Fort here in just a minute, but how hard is it for a coach to just say, just keep shooting it? Because, the tendency is to pull back when you're not doing well shooting-wise. How do you keep the girls and say, hey, you just got to keep shooting it?
We've preached it since day one. My philosophy is very simply, if you shoot the ball, you have 3 opportunities. Make it, miss it, get a rebound. Well, 4 opportunities, get fouled.
Yeah.
If you turn it over, you have 0 opportunities, 0. So we preach shooting. I promised the girls I won't yell at shots. There's a couple times my assistant coaches have had to grab me and say, hey, you promised not to yell at shots. So what if she took it from Caitlin Clark range? It's a shot. So I've really stuck to my guns with that. And believe it or not, they've gotten better. Early in the year, it was a lot of one pass and shot. But they've learned on their own, and me giving them the freedom, or us, the coaches, giving them the freedom. It's, I'll take a shot over a turnover any day of the week.
So I have to ask this. Is there any moment this year where you've said, oh, no, don't take that shot. Nice shot.
About 100 times. Because when you give them that freedom in my head, I'm going, oh, no. Oh, yeah. That banked in 3 where they got fouled and made the foul shot? Yeah.
Those are the funniest moments. When you're thinking, don't take that shot, and they do. And it's just like the look on everybody's face.
And as soon as it goes in, I just turn and go, that's great coaching. That is great coaching.
Makes you look like a genius, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. All right, let's go on a little bit into Old Fort. Obviously, league game, so how do you size that up?
They handled us pretty easily the first time. We did not handle their pressure well, and Ryan Smith just had a great game against us. Every shot she took, she hit. So I think we'll be okay. We're healthy as we've been in a while, so we've gotten better as the year's gone on. The key is if we handle the pressure and can knock down some shots, I think we can compete, definitely.
Yeah, and this is a good measuring stick. How do you
Yes.
view it? Because it was at the beginning of the year that
Yes.
you played them and lost by 23, but obviously how much do you say, maybe not so much the numbers, but what are some of the aspects of the game can we play better in
Yeah.
than we did in the first game?
Yeah, and it's definitely the rebounding and handling pressure. I knew coming into the year handling pressure would be difficult or a learning process, and we've gotten so much better. Our initial press break and handling the ball has been good. It's once we get into the front court, we're working on not being so fast. Teams speed us up, and that's where our mistakes come from. Because we beat the initial press, so we think, oh, we've got to score.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily.
Yeah.
We can bring it back out. That's where we've gotten a lot better. And Thursday night will be a really good test on that because they have good pressure. They always have.
You know, the hard part for me when I watch games, and it's like, you see a zone, and it's especially with young players, it's like, uh-oh, what do we do now?
Yeah.
And it's do you dribble? Do you work inside out? What do you instruct the girls in maybe not necessarily just zone, but not facing a familiar defense?
Gotcha.
What must they do in terms of the ball movement to involve everybody, to be a team concept, to be able to attack the basket?
I think you hit it on the head. You have to reverse the ball quickly, and then the key is inside out. Inside out. We don't have per se dominant post players. We have players that can score in there, but our game is getting it in, getting the double team, and kicking back out, and that's the goal for us. And anytime somebody throws a junk defense or something different at us, we simply try to go high post and kick it back out and either penetrate or shoot.
All right, last question. We'll wrap up with this. How has your defense been this year?
Horrible. If I can be blatantly honest.
Okay.
But it's been a work in progress. We've switched from man to zone, back to man. At times it's really good. It's I shouldn't say it's horrible. It's the continuation of it for the whole 32 minutes. We have spurts where we just seem to lose focus. If we can fix that, we'll be fine. So
Is that because – do you notice that because of the offense, if it's struggling, that may
Yes.
take away from your defense?
Yes, absolutely. Especially when we're not shooting well. I just think it takes the energy. When you execute, you do things correctly, and then you don't make the layup or you don't get the wide open shot, but you don't hit it. I think lack of energy. The fourth quarter the other night that you talked about, it was the energy that really amped us up. Once you hit a couple buckets, boy, that energy is on defense now. It's going after loose balls. It's getting on the floor. So it's energy, yes.
All right, well, we look forward to covering your game on Thursday night. Eric Simon, the head coach of the SJCC girls, as they go up against Old Fort. We'll have the game 7 o'clock roughly with our tip-off, pregame 6:45.
Awesome.
Look forward to seeing you then.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
As we roll along here from Frickers, 79-cent boneless wing night here, and you can watch the Vikings and the Rams. They wrap up the first week of the NFL playoffs. More to come after this. We'll welcome in John Cahill after this timeout. You're listening to Eagle 99, your home of high school sports here in Northwest Ohio. Frickers, and this is your place to go. Yeah, that's
The crowd's excited, Jimmy.
No, they're doing the wave in the back here.
Yep.
All right, and it's nice to be back with John Cahill.
Let's go.
Who, of course, you know from our time doing football together here on Eagle 99 for Fremont Ross football games. And we're going to talk about the boys basketball team, and you are 7-1 since a 2-point loss to Mansfield Senior on December 14th. Wow, and the big game tomorrow night against Southview. 4-0 teams in conference going up against each other. We'll talk a lot about that here in just a few moments. But first off, wonderful job that the team has done and now has, I think, surpassed the win total from last year. Is that right?
Yeah, we won 6 last year. We're 5-7 and dropped a bunch in a row and then won a tournament game. So, you know, we used last year because a lot of the same guys, just a lot of things that we didn't take care of, you know, on and off the court that became issues for us. Pat Riley called them thunderbolts. Some of them can be, you know.
I thought Pat Riley was an issue.
No,
It's like, do you have a problem with Pat Riley?
No, it was in a book, Winter Within, years ago. I read it probably back in the 90s. But, you know, thunderbolts can be somebody getting sick, twisted ankle, or they can be like things that you do to yourself. And we, Lord knows, had a lot of self-inflicted ones last year. And this year, knock on wood, we're taking care of business on and off the court. So it's been fun. And, you know, we just keep grinding away.
Well, you look at all the impressive wins that you've had during this streak, but the one that I think did turn heads was beating Perkins on their home floor by 10, handing them only their second loss of the year on January 4th.
Yeah, we played really well there, and it was coming off that overtime loss to Perrysburg. It was really good, too.
Yeah,
so, you know, we didn't, you know, you're just not sure how you guys are going to answer, you know, when you go into a game like that. And it was very emotional and back and forth. And, you know, we got behind and had to use a ton of energy on that Friday night game to stick in there because, you know, like a lot of teams are bigger than us and a little stronger than us maybe, but we battle. So came out and really executed well, played well, and, you know, went on the road and got a good win there at Perkins. And, you know, we've had some – you talked about this streak. We've had some good moments. You know, Mansfield, we lose at the buzzer. You know, we lose at the overtime game to Perrysburg. You know, it could be even better. And, you know, Mansfield, by rights, could have beaten Lima last night. He was really, really good. So, you know, our guys are staying in the battle. I think, you know, we definitely came into this with an underdog mentality, you know, where we weren't picked real high in anything, and I don't think people had tons of expectations for us. But we had some for ourselves, and, you know, we're little giants, and we battle. So.
Do you believe that those expectations, that, you know, from other teams, so the ones like, oh, just Ross struggling again,
Sure.
and everything, how much of that surprises people? I mean, how much does that play to your advantage, knowing that your team is better this year and doesn't have the pressure on them? They can play looser.
Yeah, I think it's helped. You know, like I don't think anybody's circling our game, maybe other than Sandusky at the beginning of the year. So, you know, we were picked third in the league out of 6 teams, and you know, I mean, again, you know, expectations are what they are. But, you know, for us, I mean, we're very process-based and just trying to get better every day. And so we've you know, the kids might use it for some fuel for the fire. But overall for us, I mean, we're really concerned with us and what we're trying to do on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, we're happy. And if we're a pleasant surprise to people, we like that. And if we disappoint people that don't like us, we like that too. So.
DeKentry Harden had 22 in that win against Perkins. And, you know, he has been – we know him as a scorer, but
Sure.
this year he's taken to another level. And how does a guy who – I mean, you can score a lot of points and not be a scorer. How has he become a scorer this year and finding all ways to get involved?
I think this is not going to be a tremendously standard answer, but I think he's made himself a complete player because he does everything – and it leads to better play on the offensive end. He defends. He's on the floor for loose balls. He has real leadership qualities. He competes really hard. He'll guard the other team's best perimeter player. And I think when you're not thinking about scoring, one thing this team has done other than maybe a few, I mean, we really don't take me shots where it's, you know, I'm just trying to score. The guys share the ball. They play together. And so, you know, Kentry's had some nights where he hasn't scored much, but you'd never know it looking at him. He's a great teammate, and you know, he's fun to talk about, too, because we've butted heads a lot because he's got strong will and he's got sometimes ideas that maybe we don't mesh on. But, you know, I love the kid. I have a ton of respect for what he's become, and I'm really proud he plays for us.
And we're talking with head coach John Cahill as the Fremont Ross boys go up against Southview tomorrow night. Both teams at 4-0 in conference play. That's a road game. You have 3 of the next 4 on the road.
Yep.
So what does that say for you? After this stretch, how much more will you know about your team?
I mean, you learn stuff all the time. You know, you talked about the Perkins game. I thought that was a learning one. I actually felt like Clay. We had a bunch of time off. Then they come to town, and they'd beaten us both times last year. So, you know, you're always, you know, figuring things out and looking and preparing. And, being on the road's tough, you know, and our conference is tough. Some of the teams that will play on the road are tough. We go to Findlay, and they're having a rough year, but they've beaten us, you know, soundly for a long period of time now. So, you know, big rival there, Tess. So, you know, you learn something all the time. And, we're, like I said, very in the moment. And we actually talk about this, that we didn't finish the game well Friday night. We turned the ball over a lot our Saturday afternoon. We had a big lead, and we just didn't finish
Oregon
it well.
Clay.
Yeah. So the Clay game, I mean, we're up pretty significantly. We ended up holding on by 5. So, you know, what can we take from that and learn? So we clipped it a little bit on Huddle. We talked about it today. You know, what do you guys think? And, you know, they're smart kids. They're high IQ kids. They're high performers in the classroom. Like, they think really well. And, again, that's another kudos to them, because I don't think I say that same thing last year. We weren't high performing in the classroom. They're still smart kids, but took a lot of liberties with homework and that kind of stuff, and they're not doing that right now. So, we're always trying to learn. And, again, you know, 3 or 4 on the road. You know, we're playing, you know, to stay in, you know, league contention coming up here, not just tomorrow night, but the next couple of league games. So, you know, we've always got a lot to figure out.
Talking with John Cahill, head coach of the Fremont Ross boys basketball team. They go up against Southview tomorrow night. And then we will have the game Friday against Findlay right here on Eagle 99. John Kearns will be doing that call, that game. When you mentioned how smart your players are, they have a combined GPA of 3.7. So taking that from the classroom to the court, how beneficial is that for them?
I think they've always had pretty good basketball IQ. Like, they're smart kids. They like to play ball. I think the work ethic piece of this has been really good for us. We do our homework, and we go to get to class on time. And, you know, we have these 4 standards that we live by, and be a good teammate, be a great student, be a great be early. And so those are all things we preach all the time. So I think when you do those, it leads to good performance on the court, too, because you're not, again, sabotaging yourself. You know, you're not worried about the fact that you got an F and a D. Because, you know, we've got a lot of guys that are really doing well in the classroom right now, and we take a lot of pride in that.
Mm-hmm. You know, you really developed a deep bench, and I think that's something that hadn't been there over the last few years. So take us into not only, you know, some of the players that have really developed. I mean, look at Mason England. I mean, he took that right from the football field as a sophomore on the basketball court, and made that transition very, very quickly. But, some of the guys who are coming off the bench who are getting those key minutes that you may have not seen in previous years from the guys next to you.
Yeah, I like our bench a lot. I was a John Havlicek fan growing up, so I've always tried to have guys sitting beside me that can impact the game, because he was a 6th man and still the leading scorer in Celtics history, you know, for a lot of his career. So Dekias Webb comes in. He brings incredible defensive energy. He can handle the ball. He can shoot it. You wouldn't know it watching us play at times, but he can. He made a big 3 the other night. And, again, just a kid who's done such good things for us. Mason starts, and Mason's been phenomenal. He impacts the game in so many ways. But Bray Jordan comes in.
Is he better at basketball or football?
Oh, I don't know. He's good at everything. You know, it's a little bit like, honestly, like I think he's got a great upside in basketball.
I mean, Chad, if Chad Long's listening, I mean, you could say basketball.
I hate all of this projection stuff for, like, what we're doing next, because, like, win for Fremont, and that's important. But I think, like, he's a really good track athlete, too. Sure. And I think as he gets going, you know, which one he likes. And, you know, I really wanted to be a basketball player. That's what I wanted to do, but I got recruited in football, so I was a football player in college. If I'd have been a better basketball player, I would have played there. But he'll have some options.
That's good.
And so, you know, he's done very, very well. And, I mean, he's
only going to grow. Yeah, I mean, in his playing ability.
I think he's one of the best athletes in the conference. You can make a case for him in the way he runs and jumps. But, back to our bench, Bray Jordan has been phenomenal. Sure. Comes in, handles the ball, great teammate. He does so many good things for us. Jackson Mackey comes off the bench, and he'll sub in for Mike, and he plays the 5. And he's a little undersized, but he'll battle and compete. And that kid's a little giant. Like, he takes a lot of pride in being a good teammate. We've just got lots of pieces that we can bring in. Quinn Wolf has come off the bench, can play multiple positions, can stretch the floor, and he's playing better and better. And, again, another high IQ, high-character kid. And then Kevin Jones is our 10th guy. And KJ, plays lots of JV. He wasn't sure he was going to play basketball for a while, and he came out. We're sure glad he did. And so sky's the limit. And those guys are, the last few I've talked about are all sophomores. So
Yeah,
we'll have them back for a while. And, and again, they just fit our culture and what we're trying to do. They're kids that you're proud to have on your team. Teachers root for them. The community roots for them. Like, they're not out getting in trouble. They're good kids.
Final few questions for John Cahill here from Frickers, 79-cent boneless wing night, and the football playoffs here in just a few minutes with the Vikings and the Rams. I'm really rooting for the Vikings tonight. I think if you win 14 games in a year, you should have a home game.
And
they're supposed to change that
on the road in the wild card round.
Yeah, I know. That is tough. That is tough. Let's talk about tomorrow night's game with Southview. Now, the intriguing thing is last year you handed Southview their only loss in conference, so
Correct.
obviously, some measure of revenge they might want to see. But on the other hand, to be able to win that game on the road, what would that mean for your team to get the upper hand in the conference with a win tomorrow night?
So going to last year, last year's team on a given night could be really good. We just got in our own way a lot.
Sure.
And so, I've said this to the boys over and over again. My staff is really good, and I think I'm a good coach or I wouldn't be doing it. So the more time we waste running sprints because we had 4 guys starting to school or we're flunking classes or we got into it with a teacher, it takes away from coaching. And this year we're just not doing those things. But on a given night last year we could beat somebody, and we did. We beat them. That was their only league loss. I think, they beat us pretty soundly the second time up there. In terms of what this means in the league, nobody's eliminated tomorrow, but it definitely puts you a neck up, and if we win at Southview, that's a heck of a win because they're a really good basketball team. They present a lot of problems. They're, I believe, 8-2 overall. They've beaten a couple of teams that we lost to. They beat Anthony Wayne to start the year. So they're really good. They've got matchup problems for everybody, and us included. So, it'll be a great challenge for us on the road. But, the winner of this is in first, bottom line, halfway through the season, and the loser's not. So
the pressure that your guys have put on other teams, and I know that made a significant difference in some of your games this year, including Perkins. Where has that come from? Is it just because of the athletes you have, or what has led to that being a key part of your arsenal?
So, we tried to pressure last year, and we just, again, we weren't steady Eddie enough to do it. We could do it at times. This year we've done a really nice job of again, using our high Q, which oftentimes you don't think of in pressure, but what's a good trap? And, if we just run at the guy and he throws it to a wide open guy, we're really not, there's no pressure. It's easy to break that. So we have good athletes. They're gritty, gutty kids. If we don't get a loose ball in games, I'm surprised. We're not big other than Mike. We don't have a ton of size. Mace plays a little bigger, but I'm taller than Mace. Quinn's about my height, and I was a point guard in high school. So, but we fight like crazy on the glass. But, our pressure, we really want people to have to play through us, not over us. So, if you have to dribble up against Dekias or Dontrell or Mackay, any of my guards, I wouldn't want to do it. Of course, I'm 56 and out of shape. But even when I was young, I don't want to play against those guys. They get after it. And so
Are you out of shape? Seriously, how much what do you consider out of shape?
I'm not in playing shape.
Okay.
I don't think it, and I'm old. But I'm actually fighting to get back into it a little bit. My wife and kids have been getting after me a little bit. I had a little health issue for a while. I got sick, missed a game. And so I'm just.
I think we covered that.
Yeah, so I'm eating a little better, trying to do a little better. If my wife's listening, which I think she is, because Jake had a game at the point tonight, she'll probably tell me I'm not doing better, but I am doing better. So I'm getting back going again, and I think as a role model, I'm not a drinker, I'm not a partier. Try to not cuss, occasionally slip up on that, but I'd like to get that piece back too, where I'm fit. Instead of not being fit. So I'm working on that a little bit too, trying to move some weight again. I just hate moving weight, but I'm doing it. So we're working at it, yeah.
There you go. All right, my question of the night, who's a famous person you met and who's one you would like to meet?
Oh, man. That's really tough,
I like
Coach.
these ones because they make it personal.
Yeah.
They get to know you.
Famous person I've met. Man, because
Don't say Jay Cullen.
No, Jay's here again tonight. Holy cow! You know, I had a chance at the Charge game 2 nights ago to meet Kenny Atkinson, the coach of the Cavs.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'd pick him, but it was really interesting to talk to him just because I like what the Cavs are doing.
Well,
And
he's going to be NBA Coach of the Year if he keeps up that way.
They're playing good ball right now, and I just like what they do, and we steal some of the stuff they run. Man, that's a really good question, though. Like, famous person I'd like to meet, I would love to meet any former president still alive.
Okay.
Just to find their world out, like talk to them about what that world's like. I think that would be cool. I like history. If I could go back in time, I'd love to talk to George Washington. Like we visited Mount Vernon. I just love the history of that place. And then Fremont history, especially my guy Clarence Childs. If I go back in time, I'd love to talk to him. I'd love to have a conversation with Bob Berdinsky sometime. He played here at Ross, and he's with the Dolphins. And, he was someone who I didn't know when we moved here. He's a fair amount older than I am. But, I got to watch him on TV. And so, that stuff was cool. So, like a lot of local stuff, I love to read about local history. That stuff. Mike Krzyzewski would be another one. I'd love to talk to him. Like I could go on and on with this because I don't. I like to
coming
read
up on the top.
Yeah, I know. But it's a good question, though, man. It's a good question.
Yeah, well, we like to come up with some good questions to elicit responses. So, lastly, we probably have a minute more left.
Okay.
What kind of joy do you have in coaching this group?
I love this group. There's no secret. We haven't had a smooth sail. I've said this publicly a lot. Like I didn't come back to Fremont to have a team that Little Giants everywhere couldn't be proud of, and I hadn't done very well. We hadn't won the level I'd like to win, and I mean not saying this about all the kids or all the teams, but we just didn't consistently play like I think Fremont teams should play. We might get beat tomorrow night, but we're going to get beat playing at the best possible way we can play for Fremont Ross. We might win tomorrow night, and it'll be the same thing. Like the guys compete hard, they try. Not saying they're perfect, not saying they're not going to make mistakes. I'll have more Thunderbolts to put out probably during the year at some point. But they're trying, and they're kids. And as my friend Gannon Baker says, when you're 16, 17, 18, you're at the height of your ignorance. You think you're bulletproof. You think you know everything. And
I think I'm at the height of my ignorance now.
Talking to me, that could be true. But I love this group, and they're fun. And I've enjoyed coaching them as much as I've enjoyed teams that I took to state. We're 8-4. It's not that we're setting the world on fire, but they're trying every day to do the right things. And to me, I can get behind that, man.
Well, awesome. We wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. We'll cover your game on Friday over in Findlay. Thanks very much, Coach.
Appreciate it, Timmy. Right. Thank you, buddy.
Coach John Cahill joining us, wrapping up our program. Of course, you can see on our Facebook, we do have an archive of that as well. If you miss any part of the program, Nick Roth and myself will be joining you for SJCC Girls against Old Fort, 7 o'clock, pregame 6:45 here on Eagle 99. Following night, it will be Ross Boys over at Findlay. And a reminder, 79-cent boneless wings. They have nightly specials here. Steak night on Wednesday. And kids eat free. Just ask your server for more details. From all of us here at the BAS Sports Network and Eagle 99, for Aiden Klein, our producer-engineer, and for Nick Roth, I'm Tim Boulware. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week with more coaches, more insight on high school basketball in our area here on Eagle 99.